someone told me recently that the Latin definition of the word governance is mind control. And my response to that when I heard that earlier was that, of course, you should control your own mind.
Mm.
Other people shouldn't control your mind.
You should.
I believe in self-governance.
Sovereign mind control.
Absolutely. I believe in self-governance, self-control. And so when you know about yourself, the more you know about yourself, the more you can control yourself, the more that you can have mastery of yourself.
Yeah, you know
your body, your mind, and your soul.
You know your proclivities, you know how you're going to react in a specific situation. I think it comes with wisdom. And I always say knowledge comes with interest, but wisdom comes with experience, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have, a certain sort of wisdom that is taking you in a specific direction, right? It's only gotten that you've only acquired it because of actionable experience. It's not from just learning stuff. And learning stuff will get you so far, but yeah.
To me, that gets into genetic memory. It gets into the concept of...
How powerful do you think that actually is? Do you think that it consumes 90% of who you are, 100% of who you are, 20%, 50%? What factors do you think are at play there?
All right. My subjective opinion is that it's somewhere around 49%.
Not 48 or 50?
Yeah, right. 47. I love that number, 47.
47.5.
Yeah, 47.9. Okay. So I believe in nurture over nature. I'm in that camp, with the epigenetics and whatnot. We're a long way from eugenics. So I don't think
it's with AI, we're pretty damn fucking close.
We're coming back around, right? Yeah. We're coming back around to the feudal eras. But I think, we scientifically we've disproven it thoroughly that and again, I come from that camp. I have my biases. I feel like it is nurture over nature, and yet it doesn't mean that it's not nature. It's 47%, 49% is still a great amount of the influence, And to me, it's like when I talk about light work and shadow work, it's it's like you got to do shadow work. And when someone says, oh, you're a positive person, you're a negative person, oh, you're looking at the negative all the time and stuff like that. These are exaggerations. These are, oversimplifications. And if you're looking at the negative more often than you're looking at the positive, it goes back to, Bob Marley, a lyric where he says, if you wake up and you quarrel every day.
Right.
You're singing prayers to the devil.
Right.
And so... I do think that you should wake up and have a positive mindset. You should do more positive than negative, maybe more light work than shadow work, but that doesn't mean you don't do shadow work. So I think
and a lot of people might not know what shadow work is. And from my take, shadow work, the first time I encountered shadow work was I was listening to a long time ago when she first got on the internet. I think her name was Teal Scott at the time. It's now Teal Swan. But like a spiritual, she's like a spiritual teacher, and she was like, you got to do shadow work, and I was like, what's shadow work? So I went into deep research on shadow work, and I was like, okay, I found, basically it's just like the ugly side of yourself, bringing it to the surface, going deep into the psychological nature, into the recesses of the mind. What are you like behind closed doors when shit goes wrong, or what are you like? How do you react to situations negatively if all the odds are stacked against you? And then that brings us back now to I think it was Jocko Willink where he had a video, the homie B-Fire, Bass Nerd, shouts out Bass Nerd,
Bass Nerds.
It was a funny video. We have a badass summit coming up, and we have a group chat going on, and he sent me a video of Jocko where he was talking about problems and interacting with problems, and how he had one of his subordinates that hit him up that was always like, I know what you're going to say. Anytime I have a problem or I come to you with a problem, you say good. And it's like every single time that there's no matter what problem it is, you lost your job, good. You can get another one. The mission failed, good. We can focus on a different mission. Everything is always the reaction to anything that you encounter that's negative, good.
That's
but you
Chinese
can't have
proverb
that.
Shit, though.
I bet you can't have that perspective until you've done shadow work.
Yeah.
Until you've done the work on yourself
to be
to rewire and have that cognitive restructuring of anything that I get is just a simple challenge from the hive mind or the Gaian matrix or whatever you want to call it.
I think a lot of the misconception comes from the cognitive dissonance of the reality that all things are transient. You know, like people are like, oh man, I want everything to be perfect. Everything is perfect.
Right.
In certain moments. In certain moments, you have to do shadow work. Like what you said, like when you have that moment of clarity and that moment of clairvoyance, and you say you have to do the shadow work first. It's like, yeah, you have to do the shadow work, and then you have to come back to the shadow work sometimes, and then you have to keep. You know, it's a cycle. It's like that we were talking about, the revolving around the light.
Right.
You know, is that cycle of that ebb and flow, you know? And I do think that we have to put a little bit of work into, you know, mastering violence and mastering our dark side and looking to death, looking to, you know, I love that band, Grateful Dead. The proverb, the Native American proverb that they're based off of, the term Grateful Dead, is about making good on the so-called sins or regrets of the ancestors. And so, you know, like, it also reminds me of Atmosphere, right? In Rhyme Sayers, Slug, he's
Slug.
just, the God Loves Ugly.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, embracing your ugly side. I did too. At Coachella Fest, I rolled an ugly ass blunt to that song.
I think I saw him at was it a smokeout way back in the day? I think it was.